I woke up because something felt wrong. Not a noise, not a dream, just that strange feeling you get when your brain quietly tells you something isn't the way it should be. My room was still dark, the early morning kind of dark where the sun hasn't quite decided to show up yet. The air was cool, my blanket half on the floor. And my tongue hurt. It wasn't sharp pain. More like that dull, tender ache you get after biting your cheek too hard. I ran my tongue across my teeth, expecting maybe a sore gum or a tiny cut. But something felt different. There was a gap. I sat up immediately. My heart started beating faster as I ran my tongue across my teeth again, slower this time. Front teeth, side teeth, everything seemed normal until I reached the back on the right side. There was definitely a space there. A space where a tooth should have been. I stumbled out of bed and rushed to the bathroom mirror. I flicked on the light and opened my mouth wide. All my teeth looked normal. Every single one. I leaned closer, pulling my cheek back, trying to see deeper inside. My gums looked fine. No blood, no swelling, no missing tooth. But the feeling in my mouth was still there. That strange empty sensation like something had been there, and now it wasn't. I rinsed my mouth with water, spit into the sink, and stared at the mirror. Maybe I'd just slept wrong. Maybe I'd bitten my gum in my sleep. I laughed it off. Until I went back to bed. When I lifted my pillow, something small rolled onto the mattress. A tooth. I froze. It was small, white, and slightly curved. Not a molar exactly, but not one of the tiny front teeth either. The root was still attached, slightly yellow at the tip. It looked real. Very real. I picked it up carefully between my fingers. My first thought was that maybe it had somehow come from my mouth during the night. But that didn't make sense. Adults don't just lose teeth in their sleep. And if I had lost a tooth, there would be blood. Pain. Something. But my mouth felt fine. I went back to the bathroom and checked again, more carefully this time. I counted each tooth one by one like a paranoid dentist. 32. All of them. Exactly where they should be. I stood there for a long time, holding the tooth in my palm, staring at my reflection. It wasn't mine. At least, it shouldn't be. I went back to my room, placed the tooth on my nightstand, and tried to think logically. Maybe it was already in the bed somehow. Maybe it got stuck in the sheets and ended up under the pillow. But I wash my sheets every week. And I live alone. No kids. No pets. No one else sleeping in my bed. Still, I convinced myself it was nothing. Just a weird coincidence. I tossed the tooth in the trash, got dressed, and went to work. But that night, something even stranger happened. I woke up again around 3 a.m. Same feeling. That quiet, uncomfortable sense that something wasn't right. My tongue hurt again. This time the ache was on the other side of my mouth. Slowly, nervously, I ran my tongue across my teeth. Everything felt normal, until the back left side. That empty feeling again. My chest tightened. I sat up slowly, my heart already racing. I didn't even want to look. But I had to. With shaking hands, I lifted the pillow. And there it was. Another tooth. Lying exactly where the first one had been. I grabbed it and rushed to the bathroom mirror. My hands were trembling now. I opened my mouth wide and counted again. 32 teeth. All present. None missing. But now I had 2 extra teeth sitting in my hand. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. Instead, I searched online for hours. Adult teeth falling out in sleep. Teeth appearing under pillow. Dental anomalies. Sleepwalking. Nothing made sense. Some posts talked about people grinding their teeth so badly they cracked them. But that would leave damage in my mouth. Others suggested hallucinations or sleep paralysis. But hallucinations don't leave physical objects behind. The next night, I decided to test something. Before going to bed, I placed a camera on my dresser pointing directly at the bed. If something weird was happening, I wanted proof. I brushed my teeth, checked my mouth carefully in the mirror, and went to sleep. And at 2:47 a.m., I woke up again. Same ache. Same strange emptiness. My stomach dropped. Slowly, I lifted the pillow. A third tooth. I almost threw it across the room. Instead, I grabbed the camera and checked the recording. The video showed me sleeping peacefully for hours. Nothing unusual. Then around 2:30 a.m., I moved. Not in a normal way. My body sat upright in bed. But my eyes were still closed. I watched myself reach up slowly, and open my mouth. Then something impossible happened. My jaw stretched wider than it should have. Wider than any human mouth should be able to open. And then, a tooth fell out. Not from my mouth. From inside it. Like it had dropped from somewhere deep in my throat. It landed on the pillow. Then my sleeping self picked it up, and gently placed it under the pillow, like a child leaving a gift for the tooth fairy. I stared at the screen in horror. Because right before the video ended, my sleeping self looked directly at the camera, eyes still closed, and whispered something. I replayed that part 5 times before I finally understood what it said. 3 words. Not your teeth. I didn't sleep at all after that. Morning came slowly. But when I finally checked under my pillow again, there was another one waiting. And this time, it was much bigger. And still warm.